As the snow continued to fall silently outside, inside in the cozy warmth of the living room, an 18-year-old girl sat quietly on the couch. Her eyes were fixed not on the movie playing on the screen, but on the boy beside her. A handsome boy named Taeyong, who had fallen asleep under the woolen blanket, his head resting on the plush cushions, a peaceful expression on his face. I can do this all day, all night. Put her head on the cushion while staring at him. As he whispered, he stirred in his sleep, causing her to let out an innocent smile as her heart swelled with an indescribable warmth. The gentle rise and fall of his chest as he breathed, the way his eyelashes brushed his cheeks, and the slight curl of his lips all seemed impossibly perfect in the dim light. She wanted to brush the strand of hairs from his forehead, yet she never dared to touch him, as she was afraid to break his sleep and her dreams. Ryan, are you awake? Upon hearing his elder sister's voice, she closed her eyes, pretending to sleep, or perhaps she was just afraid to be caught admiring him. Yes, she was a secret admirer, but she wasn't planning to extend her boundaries. Wake up, Ryan, you'll catch cold. Nudged her shoulders to wake her up. Ryan opened her eyes, pretending to be sleepy, but her eyes widened when she heard a deep chip from someone next to her. You lost. He turned to face him and once again fell for his cheeky smile. There wasn't a moment when this girl did not fall for him all over again, as if it were her first time. Oh, mister, you are the one who slept first, ready to start her play fight with him as usual. How could I sleep when you were snoring like a pig in my ear? Mocked her. You? You both started again? Exhausted expressions. You can continue this tomorrow. For now, go to your rooms and sleep. It means she's not planning to go to her home soon? Looks at Ryan. Girl, why are you so obsessed with me? Why don't you try and step out of your imagination for once? Replied him back Cecily. Then I won't be able to do things to you that I do in my imagination. He whispered the line so that his elder sister could not hear. But the things he spoke, his way of speaking, and that little smirk sitting proudly on the corner of his lips, played with poor girl's heart. Yet reminding herself that it's his nature to blurt out anything for the sake of fun, Vine scrunched her nose in annoyance and winked while looking at Miso. Oh nee, stop him. Dai, stop teasing her and go to your room. Pouts. You guys are no fun. Stood up to leave. But before going to his room, he quickly turned around, smashed the pillow which was in his hand on Mizo's head, pounced toward Vine who was still sitting on the couch, and hovered over her sitting figure. She looked at him with startled eyes, but that did not stop him from diving his hands into her hair, ruffling them playfully, making a glorious mess of her previously neat style. Mizo was struggling to keep her head from spinning since the power with which Taeyong had struck her made her see stars. Hey, what do you think you are doing? Trying to stop him by grabbing his arms but failed, and shrieked at the top of her lungs in frustration. Just adding some chaos to your perfection? Laughing at her messed up state, he backed off and sprinted towards his room, while dodging the pillows and few cursed words which were thrown at him from behind by the both frustrated females. Next day in car. Tang drove to her college to drop her off since Mizo refused to let Vine, her baby sister, if not by blood, then by heart, walk there, and deep inside, Tang was grateful to his sister. So what's your plan after graduation, little one? Glanced at Vine while driving. University, co-education, a lovely boyfriend, a good career, marry my lovely boyfriend, have kid. She started narrating her future goals, or rather, plans that could perhaps irritate him if he cares enough. Don't you dare to think about any other boy. Why? Trying to piss him off by repeating her words. You should not think bad about others. Pressed his lips to suppress a smile. You are so mean. I pity the girl who will marry you. He applied the brake, and the car stopped in front of a college. She huffed and mean expressions clouded her face as she exited the car. She began walking towards the entrance of a college when Taehyung rolled down the windows of his car and shouted her name. She annoyingly looked back. Pity yourself. Saying this, he drove away, leaving the confused girl in more confusion. Several days later, Van stood there, watching her elder sister Yeri's car driving away from her. Her sister got married today and was moving far away with her groom, leaving Vine as the only daughter in Kang house. Her gaze held longing, as tears made their way down her rosy cheeks successfully. Why are you crying, Vayana? Look, I'm here for you. And if you ask me, then I would say I'm very happy today. Tried to sound cheerful. Sniffed and rubbed her pink nose. Why? Started hiccuping due to trying too much. Because now I get to be your only favorite only, and we will enjoy a lot as that witch won't be able to scold us for sneaking out at night. Giggled at her own evil ideas. But you will also leave me one day, just like Vanni. Cried harder. Why would I? Frowns. Did you forget that you have a boyfriend? Hyunwoo Oppa? You will also marry him one day and move away. No, I won't. Blurted out as if she was scared of something. Her reaction was odd given that she was in love with her boyfriend from a long time, but Vine, who was too immersed in her own grief, let it slide and hugged Miso while crying. After some time, she sat on her sister's now vacant bed, the familiar scent of her favorite perfume lingering in the air. The room felt strange without her presence, the once lively space now oddly silent. She ran her fingers over the soft fabric of the bedsheet, and an overwhelming sense of emptiness settled over her. Tears welled up in her eyes as she remembered their last conversation before the wedding. I'll always be there for you, no matter how far away I am, she said, her voice full of promise. Back to the present. I miss you. The pain was raw in her voice as she whispered. Who would not miss a guy like me? I know I have that kind of personality, but crying while missing me is a little too much. Don't you think so? He suddenly appeared to be seated beside her on the bed, which she had failed to notice before. He teased her to make her forget about her sadness and focus on being angry on him. His way of grabbing her attention might be a little out of the way, but oh, it works just well. You're here to make fun of me? Wiped her tears and glared at him with an angry little pout decorating her lips, making her look even more adorable to him. Chuckled softly. Why would I even make fun of you? I know you look a little ugly while crying, but I'm not into making fun of someone's insecurities. He gently patted her head, making her cough and scoot away from him. Go away. Even if I do, you won't be able to get rid of me. How? Her sadness vanished into the thin air as she started preparing herself for the bickering competition. You'll always think about me. I'll never, lied on his face. You will, forever, confidently spoke. What's in you that will make me miss you? Pecked her cheek. Now try forgetting about me, Legion. It was too much for the pure, innocent girl who had never touched hands with a man, except her father. He ran away after stealing her heart along with her breath once again. And let's just say, that night, Vine could not even blink her eyes to get a speck of sleep. Few days later. You gave me so many tears, Taeyong. I'll never forgive you for this. Tears rolled down and landed on her pillow, soaking it and making it a witness of her misery. I never knew loving you would be so painful, sobs painfully. Someone knocked on her door, but she ignored. The knocks became louder as the time passed, so she stood up from her bed, wiped her tears, and opened the door. Her mother, who was knocking earlier, gasped while looking at her daughter's puffy eyes and messed up state. What happened, dear? She immediately stepped inside her room as Vine stepped aside and asked her as her voice was laced with concern. Nothing, Uma. I just did not get enough sleep. Did you cry? Tried to make eye contact with Vine, which she obviously tried to avoid. Sighs. Yes, for only. Lied as she did not want to disclose that she was crying over a boy. Oh, it's okay. You will meet your Oni today. Really? Yes, I came here to tell you something, Vine. Tang is going abroad for 4 years for studies. We have to go to the airport to see him off. You'll meet your Unni there, as she is also tagging along. Vine, who was aware of Taehyung's departure from the previous night since Miso informed her via message, acted as if she did not know it before and had not been crying non-stop since the last night because of it. Oh, really? Good for him. Say my best wishes to him. What do you mean? Aren't you coming to see him off? No, Mom. I won't be able to. I'm not feeling well. I'll give you medicine and you will feel as fresh as Daisy after drinking my handmade tea. I won't hear anything, Vine. You have to go. But Mom, no buts. You wanted to meet your sister, right? She won't be coming home as she has some work, so go there for her at least. Finding no way to win against her stubborn mother, Vine said yes, went to get ready to say her last goodbye to her teenage love. At the airport. Before going in, Tang hugged everyone one by one. His gaze shifted to Vine, who was standing at the corner, looking down, not acknowledging him. She was trying to act as if it didn't matter, but only she was familiar with the whirlwind of emotions that were ruining her inside. Tang stared at her until Miso nudged him to go and meet Vine one last time. He walked towards her and stood in front of her, making her glance up at him, but she immediately broke the eye contact. You don't even want to look at me? You hate me this much? He forced a smile that did not quite reach his eyes. Very much. Spoke while looking down, holding her tears. Is it going to stop me from hugging you? No. Don't you dare. Finally looked at him. Did you cry for me? Asked as he noticed her swollen red eyes. You wish. I would never cry for you. Looked to the side while controlling her tears, but her red nose and wet eyelashes didn't went unnoticed by him. Yes, never cry for me. Just smile. A bittersweet smile covered his lips as he stared at her face as if it was his last time. Saying this, he hugged her tightly, engulfing her whole existence in his embrace, while she fought hard to control the storm of her overwhelming emotions. With one last look, he turned and headed towards the security checkpoint. She watched him leave, her heart aching with each step he took away from her. As he disappeared from her sight, she finally let the tears she had been holding back spill over. But before anyone could comprehend the weight of her sadness, she made her way towards the restroom area to practice to hide her sadness, as this is what she would be doing often from now on.